What if one of the most ordinary habits in your daily routine, something you have never questioned and probably never feared, is quietly placing long-term stress on one of the most vulnerable organs in your body? Not suddenly or dramatically, but slowly and repeatedly over time, something as simple as reheating yesterday's food. Today, I want to talk about a growing concern within food science and preventive medicine, a concern grounded in chemistry and physiology rather than fear or speculation, and one that deserves attention because it affects millions of people every single day without their awareness. In the next few minutes, I will explain 5 common foods that, when cooked, cooled, and reheated improperly, can generate compounds that silently overload the pancreas, often without pain, warning signs, or immediate symptoms until damage has already accumulated. This information may permanently change how you look at leftovers and how you use your microwave. Why the pancreas is at risk. Leftovers feel practical and harmless because they save time, reduce waste, and make life easier, especially after long days. But when certain foods are reheated incorrectly again and again, convenience turns into cumulative biological stress. The pancreas is one of the most overlooked organs in the body, quietly located behind the stomach, constantly producing digestive enzymes and regulating blood sugar through insulin. Yet it does its work silently, without early pain signals, and without clear distress messages when something begins to go wrong. This silence is precisely why pancreatic disease is so dangerous. The pancreas does not complain early, and by the time symptoms appear, disease is often advanced, which is one reason pancreatic cancer remains difficult to detect and continues to have one of the lowest survival rates among major cancers. That is why prevention matters, and why daily food handling habits are far more important than most people realize. The science behind reheating. Cooking, cooling, and reheating food is not a neutral process, because heat changes molecular structure, and under certain conditions, harmless compounds can be transformed into inflammatory, oxidative, and cell-damaging substances. Inflammation, oxidative stress, and DNA damage are not abstract ideas, but the biological foundation of many chronic diseases, including metabolic disorders and cancer. The goal here is not fear, but awareness, because small, informed decisions repeated daily can protect long-term health. Food number 1. Reheated oils and fried foods. The first issue is not the food itself, but the oil used to cook and reheat it. When oils are exposed to high temperatures during frying, they begin to degrade. But when they are heated again during reheating, especially vegetable oils such as sunflower, corn, or soybean oil, this degradation accelerates dramatically. Repeated heating causes deep oxidation, producing toxic byproducts like aldehydes and free radicals, compounds strongly linked to inflammation, cellular injury, and DNA damage. When these compounds are consumed regularly, they create a chronic inflammatory environment, and the pancreas is particularly sensitive to this constant stress. Over time, pancreatic cells are forced to function under hostile conditions, impairing their ability to regulate digestion and blood sugar efficiently. Medical guidance is clear. Frying oil should never be reused. Frying should be limited. Gentler cooking methods should be preferred. And reheated fried foods should be warmed using dry heat rather than additional oil. Fresh meals give the pancreas relief rather than burden. Food number 2. Reheated spinach and leafy greens. Spinach is healthy, but the problem lies in how it is handled after cooking. Leafy greens naturally contain nitrates, which are harmless on their own, but after cooking and slow cooling, especially when left at room temperature, bacteria can convert nitrates into nitrites. When reheated, nitrites can form nitrosamines, compounds classified as probable human carcinogens that can damage DNA and increase inflammatory stress. Although these compounds are most studied in digestive cancers, the pancreas plays a key role in detoxification, and repeated exposure places it under chronic biochemical strain. The safest approach is to cook only what you plan to eat, cool leftovers quickly, refrigerate promptly, and preferably consume cooked leafy greens cold rather than reheated. Food number 3, reheated rice. Rice is a global staple, and one of the most underestimated food safety risks when handled incorrectly. Raw rice can contain spores of Bacillus cereus, which survive cooking and multiply when cooked rice is left at room temperature. These bacteria produce toxins, one of which is resistant to heat, meaning reheating does not destroy it. When consumed, this toxin triggers food poisoning and intense digestive inflammation, placing acute stress on the pancreas and contributing to chronic low-grade inflammation when exposure is repeated. Rice should be cooled quickly, refrigerated within 1 hour, stored airtight, consumed within 24 hours, and reheated only once until steaming hot throughout. Food number 4, reheated chicken. Chicken is nutritious, but reheating it improperly creates risk. Microwaves often heat unevenly, leaving cold spots where bacteria such as Salmonella or Campylobacter can survive. Infections from these bacteria trigger strong systemic inflammation that involves the pancreas as part of the body's immune response. Safe handling requires rapid cooling, airtight storage, cutting chicken into smaller pieces before reheating, verifying internal temperature with a thermometer, and preferring oven or stovetop reheating for even heat. Cold preparations eliminate the risk entirely. Food number 5, reheated potatoes. Potatoes present both metabolic and chemical concerns. When cooked and cooled, potatoes form resistant starch, which supports gut health and stabilizes blood sugar. But reheating destroys much of this benefit, leading to sharper glucose spikes that demand stronger insulin responses from the pancreas. Repeated insulin surges strain pancreatic cells and increase the risk of insulin resistance and metabolic disease. High heat reheating can also increase acrylamide formation, a probable carcinogen, especially when potatoes are refried. Cold potatoes preserve resistant starch, while gentle reheating methods should be used only when necessary. Across all 5 foods, the pattern is clear. Inflammation, oxidative stress, and cellular damage are the shared mechanisms, and when repeated daily, they slowly wear down the pancreas. This is not about eliminating leftovers, but about respecting the biology behind how food interacts with the body. Cooking smaller portions, cooling food quickly, preferring cold leftovers when appropriate, and reheating carefully are small decisions, but over time, they make a meaningful difference. Your health is shaped not by one dramatic event, but by the quiet habits you repeat every day. Take them seriously.